This is the longest drive Hetty's done since we gave her a full service. I'm always a bit nervous. Listening. Every sound, every rattle. One eye on the gauges. She didn't miss a beat. We think 60 years feels old for a van. These walls have stood here for 900 years. Welcome to the Snowman. So, this is the longest drive that we're going to take Hetty on since we've done the service. I wouldn't say I'm worried, a little bit anxious, but I am paying attention. It's funny, you run her after a service and you spend all the time listening to every little sound she makes, and then you take her out on the road and you spend time listening to all the other little sounds that you get when you're out on the road as well. So, anyway, let's go. We drove north into Norfolk. Flat fields, big skies. The kind of roads that ask nothing of you except to slow down. Of course I kept one eye on the gauge the whole way, just to make sure that Hetty was okay. She's always rattled a bit, but it's been there for years. And it's just Hetty's way of saying hello. She's been checked over thoroughly. She got us there. She always gets us there when it matters. We pulled into this farm campsite just outside Swaffham as the light was beginning to fade. No big setup, no rush. Just us, Hetty, and the quiet. We sat together as the sky turned deep blue, listening to the engine call and the countryside settle for the night. This is the kind of moment we do all the repairs for. The next morning, I did my checks before we left the field. Force of habit now, after everything we did in the service. I found a slight oil leak from the oil pressure switch. A quick tighten, no oil. There's something about doing these checks that I've never quite been able to explain. It's just you and the van, and one thing at a time. No rush. No noise, just work. I didn't have a word for it until we got to Castle Acre. Everything was fine. She's always fine when it matters. We weren't here to tick a box. We were here to stop, to feel the weight of time. and to remember that peace is something we can choose right now. If you've liked this quieter side of our journey, we'd love it if you hit like and subscribe, so you can walk with us on the rest of our healing road with Hetty. This place was built by the men who came over with William the Conqueror, not long after 1066, while England was still figuring out what it was. William de Warenne, one of the Conqueror's closest allies, decided to build something that would outlast them all. 930 years later, he was right. The order that filled these walls was the Cluniac order, monks who lived by a simple rhythm: prayer, work, stillness. Every single day. No algorithm, no inbox, no noise. Just that rhythm, repeated for 400 years. But here's the thing about the Cluniac monks that I didn't know before we came here. They didn't just see work as something you did between prayers. They believed work was prayer. That giving yourself completely to a single task, with care, with attention, with your whole self, was its own form of devotion. Sitting here in these ruins, I thought about lying under Hetty with the oil dripping and the light fading and the one job in front of you. Valve clearances, oil change, whatever it is, just you, the van, and a singular purpose. I think I know what they meant. It's not just fixing something, it's a form of meditation. It always has been. We just needed a 900-year-old ruin to tell us that. No algorithm, no inbox, no noise, just the work, just Hetty. The west façade, what's left of it, is considered one of the finest pieces of Romanesque architecture surviving anywhere in England. 9 centuries of English weather, 9 centuries of wind and rain and frost again, and it's still standing. Henry VIII dissolved all of this in 1537, sent in his commissioners, stripped it. The last prior, a man called Thomas Malin, surrendered it, put his name to a document and handed over the keys. 400 years of daily prayer, gone in a signature. But they couldn't dissolve the stone. You can't dissolve stone. We walked through what's left of the prior's lodgings, some of the most complete domestic monastic remains anywhere in the country. You can still see the fireplaces, the doorways, the shape of rooms where men lived and thought and prayed. It occurred to me standing there that these men had no idea whether any of this would last. They just built it anyway. They just showed up every day and did the work. Hetty's 60 years old. This place is 930. Both of them are still here, still doing what they were made for. There's something in that. Life moves fast if we let it, but here, among these ancient stones, we see that we can choose to slow down. It's not just about the history, it's not even really about the van.
It's about what happens when you stop long enough to actually be somewhere. We've found these places have a way of doing that, slowing you down, reminding you that it isn't about getting somewhere necessarily. It's about just being, enjoying the journey. 900 years of stone, 60 years of van. Hetty made the whole drive without a murmur. Sometimes the things you've poured everything into, they just hold. Maybe that's what the monks knew all along. The devotion to something, really showing up for it day after day, is never wasted. Whether it's 400 years of prayer, or 60 years of keeping a van alive, or a family, the work is the point. We were exactly where we needed to be, together, parked outside a 1,000-year-old ruin in a 60-year-old van. That felt just about right.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.